Welcome to another episode of Gas One-on-One Interviews. It's your boy at Bryce XXVII on behalf of Gas Sports Network. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by my guy, Jeremy Babb, man. We're going to get into some great conversations about esports today. Jeremy Babb of RSN Esports, RSN Sports Network. Jeremy, man, no one can introduce themselves better than themselves. So I'm gonna give you the floor now to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Say less, and thank you for having me here, bro. I'm excited, man. Just we're almost at the end of 2020 here, and to kind of be here with you right now in this space, I'm excited. So I'm Jeremy Babb. I'm the director of educational programming and technology for RSN Esports and RSN Sports. So just to break it down, we started on this journey about 5, 6 years ago. Me and my business partner Kevin Walker and my newly found business partner James Whitner, and we started off honestly grassroots. We were just streaming high school sports, and that literally was what we were doing. We were teaching youth real world learning skills through the art of sport. You know what I mean? I mean, no way to learn something than to be doing it, for your school, with some school spirit and just kind of hands on. So that's where we kind of really started there. And RSN, that was RSN Sports at that time, and then RSN Esports was kind of it was there, but then it wasn't there. You know what I mean? So and we'll talk some more about that when I get into my. I guess if you want me to get into my gaming journey, is my esports journey as well. If you want me to.
Oh yeah, let's do it, man. I think
Let's go. All right, say less.
You kind of started off bringing up a great point, man. The end of 2020 is near, and with 2020 has come a ton of changes. I think one of the biggest changes was this virtual life we all seem to be living. I mean, we're doing this interview virtual right now, and I think nothing makes sports more virtual than esports, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's jump right into it, man. Let's hear about the esports journey.
All right, let's go. So, like I said, about 5 years ago, we started with RSN Sports, and then RSN Esports was kind of like a prototype. I was working at a school. By nature, I'm in the educational field, so I'm in the trenches. Started off as a dedicated aide at Maya Angelou Public Charter School. I was actually working at Enterprise, and I wasn't fulfilled, man. Like, it was just like they were running me into the ground. They were just kind of really, taking advantage of my talent in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I was good at selling and whatnot, but it wasn't clicking for me. So took a leap of faith. And my mom actually is a teacher, so she always would ask me, like, hey, you want to do teaching? I'm like, nah, I'm good with that. I don't deal with them kids. So not knowing at the time that would have been my calling. So started off as a dedicated aide, and it's crazy because my old middle school principal was actually the one who hired me in at Maya Angelou. So I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. So it was a dedicated aide, and that was a interesting experience. I was responsible for a 15-year-old student, and he was a cool guy, man. Just was there to kind of help him stay on track. Let's focus on this, focus on that. So that was pretty cool. That was a great experience to kind of get my feet wet, not knowing that we would be then now doing what we're doing now. So did that for a little bit. Unfortunately, they were kind of like weren't paying me. Like, I was like, I got a family, bro. Like, I need my check. You know what I mean? Like, I can't keep working, and there's no, like, you're telling me my check's in Richmond, and I just can't. That's not going to work for me and my family. So it actually worked out that across the street there was another school, elementary school. So the principal over there, my mom actually was the principal's niece's, like, English teacher. So the principal actually went to my mom for a teacher's conference one day, a parent teacher conference, and I was like, hey, my son's looking for a job, and I was just like, okay, cool. So she hit me up. I hit her up, got her email, and she's like, hey, can you come for an interview? I was like, sure. It was literally across the street. So I went to work. I was like, you know what? Before I go into work, I'm going to go for this interview. Went in for the interview, hit it out the park. Next thing you know, became the dean of students at this school. I started off in the educational realm in behavior. So I had a different lens. So I always kind of had my ears to the ground, knew kind of what, what kids were, what they really liked, what engaged them, you know what I mean? So I would bring my laptop, not this one I have here, but I have a MacBook Pro. I would bring that jump, and I knew kids liked the game, and I'll play the game myself, you know what I mean? I'll play my game remotely at the crib. So I'll be at the school playing remotely. So my kids saw me doing it. They're like, "Oh, Mr. Babb, what's good? I'm trying to get on that." So got on, and then what it turned into was like a behavior modification scenario, because I'm the dean of students, and in the educational realm and discipline, but we don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? That was back in the day when you was more authoritarian, more disciplinarian type of scenario. So I was like, you know what? I'm not authoritarian. I don't have authoritarian thing in my bone, in my body. So I would do it a different way. So we had one student, man, he would tear the whole school up, bro. Like nobody could holler at him. So I went ahead. I was like, look, Marvin, we got to come up with an agreement here, because you can't keep tearing the school up. So I was like, look, you do your work. Everything is in order. You can come play the game. So it was like clockwork. He came. He didn't tear the school up. We had an agreement. He would come. He would play Madden, 2K. I mean, it was just really, it was remarkable, So that's kind of where about 2015 is when the birthing of RSN Esports and the whole just gaming realm. We started realizing it was more than just playing a game. Because I grew up a casual gamer. Me and my brother were casual gamers. We would always get the new Madden, new 2K. Back in the day, NBA Live, NBA Jam, you know what I'm saying? So, I grew up on playing Parappa the Rapper, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the first games I remember coming up,
Right.
Yeah, so I was like first grade, so grew up in Canada. So that's another thing about me. I grew up in Canada, kind of had a different lens again, because I came from Canada. So we were gaming, we had the 64, we had the PlayStation. So PlayStation 1, it was no issue. So, but that's kind of a little bit about my little gaming thing. But I started realizing as time progressed from 2015 to now, esports started picking up a lot of steam. I mean, overseas, they were already doing what they were doing. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, oh, this is a new phenomenon. No, overseas was already getting it in. They were already building their PCs. They were already kind of doing tournaments, League of Legends, Dota, all of that. So as time progressed, we started doing some more research and realizing like, whoa, a lot of our kids game. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not put the two and two together? You know what I'm saying? So we started doing that. We helped roll out the pilot esports league in DC with the DCSAA. We worked with Play VS. We recruited about 35 schools. 10 competed, and the other, about 25 or so, they got knocked out. Well, 10 or 15 or so got knocked out because of like technical issues and server issues and stuff like that. But it was good to start off with the first 10. It kind of got our feet wet. It went really successful. Archbishop Carroll, shout out to Coach Ellerby. They were one of the first schools to sign up. They actually ended up winning the Rocket League championship. It was awesome, man. It was magic for real.
Yeah, that's lit, man. And I see you guys didn't just, try to, like, you guys started something that was powerful, but you took it to the community, right? You took it to the schools. You took it to where you could actually find these students that needed an outlet. And I think that's pretty cool, man. And growing up, I was a huge gamer. I'm a millennial, so I'm 29. So
Okay.
Growing up, man, gaming was big in my life. Gaming was huge in my life. I couldn't wait to get home. As soon as I was done playing outside, I was coming back inside, getting on the games before my homework, right?
Yep.
So and then, I think back to those times, to high school, middle school, everyone played some sports. There was also always some sports that were quote unquote sports, quote unquote teams. You had the chess team, right? Is one that comes to mind instantly. Like, are these guys a sport? I mean, they got Letterman jackets. Does that count? You just don't know. So my question for you, Jeremy, is esports an actual sport? Like, I mean, it has sport in the name, esports. Like, is it something that you consider an actual sport, or would you say it's in its own lane? How do you consider that?
I mean, it can go in a couple different ways. It's in its own lane, but yes, it is a sport. It's been sanctioned across the nation. It is an official high school sport. It is an official sport. They have professional teams. I mean, the name for itself, esports, electronic sports. So yeah, it is a sport. People are competing, and there's a lot of money in esports. That's another thing. So, and just gaming in general, there's a lot of funds in gaming. And my goal and RSN Esports goal is to expose our black and brown kiddos to the fact that yeah, you can game and make money. So yes, it is a sport, and there's a lot of money to be made. And my job is to just kind of be that liaison to let them know, like, hey, you can game and you can make money.
Yeah. And just about 3.5 years ago, esports had an average viewership of around 200 million. And now, 3 years later, that number's jumped up to 500 million. So you're talking about 500 million viewers worldwide
Yeah,
for esports. This is something serious, and it's projected that by the end of 2021, that esports viewership will have surpassed every major sport in America except the NFL. So I mean, if you don't want to recognize it as a sport, you might just be behind the times.
exactly. Like, speaking of NFL, like, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I think if it was in the last Super Bowl or the Super Bowl before, the League of Legends Championship had more views the same night of the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I
Wow.
mean, that in itself, I mean, think about that. NFL usually has the most views, Super Bowl, you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
that speaks volume to me. So, definitely keep that on your radar. The viewership. And I mean, the thing about like watching esports and gaming, it's so passive, you know what I mean? Like, I remember like my buddy James, my business partner, we work at the same school, and I'll go into his classroom and he literally has like the Fortnite jump on the screen, just like watching people play. And I'm like, that's kind of when I was like, yo, people really do this? Like, they watch other people play games, and I'm like, interesting. And now I'm the one that kind of has it in the back playing, if it's Cyberpunk or like a little bit of Madden. Honestly, I also wanted to plug this in. We actually had our Pandemonium 2020 last weekend, man. It was awesome. I mean, some of the two best days of my life, for real. Pandemonium 2020, it's just the beginning. I can't wait till 2021 so we can do Pandemonium 2020 and beyond. Let's get it.
Yeah. So let's jump into that for a second. The Pandemonium 2020, and
Mm-hmm.
I was able to tune in for a little bit. It was definitely
Awesome.
some great
Appreciate it.
action. Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem, man. So tell the viewers kind of what that was all about. Tell them about the
Okay.
tournament, which games you guys decided to focus on.
Yeah, so Pandemonium in 2020 was first of a kind of event. The first of its kind of event. So originally it was actually supposed to be a hybrid event, but with COVID and everything, we decided, like, you know what, let's not even risk it. It was supposed to be in Delaware, so we just went ahead and did it all virtual. It was an event that not only was it about gaming and esports, we also had panels to, I was on the second panel, how to use esports to curb teen violence. The first panel, esports as a profession. The third panel, esports as workforce and career development. You know what I mean? So it was not only an opportunity to build community and game and entertain, but also educate, and inspire. You know what I mean? Like, I think for one of the best things for me with the whole pandemonium was that we had youth from Baltimore that actually like won the Fortnite tournament. You know what I mean? Like, that was so huge. You know what I mean? Like, shout out to the Baltimore School of Design. One of their youth won it. We're actually getting ready to bring an esports program there as well. So very, very excited about that. So that was a really a big win. I mean, Pandemonium. I mean, the entertainment. Shout out to FFG, Futures First Gaming. Our Delaware affiliates, man. It wouldn't it wouldn't be possible without Pandemonium. Wouldn't have been possible without them. You know what I mean? Like, the collaboration, the synergy right now is something far of amazing. We have some leagues that's about to come out here in January. So some of the games that were as Pandemonium were some of the similar games that's going to be at the in the league. So we have Tekken, Super Smash, Madden 2K, COD, Warzone, Fortnite, Rocket League. So those are some of the games that's going to be in our league. So I definitely, if you know any youth, form a little community team. You know what I mean? You said you used to come home and play games. Maybe you and, two of your buddies can just team up, have your own little community team and be a part of the FFG times RSN league,
Hey, we might have to get the Gas Sports for the Culture gaming team, man. Come out and take over.
I'm dead serious. Like, let's do that. You know what I mean? We just revamped our website, so you're able to go on there, and it's a fee per year, but it's not much. It's like $30 for a year to be a part of it. Be a part of the hype, learn how to attack esports from a business standpoint. You know what I mean? So that's literally what Pandemonium was about. It's about exposing our Black and brown youth to the $156 billion industry of esports.
Right. And like you said, man, that's 156 billion. That's a lot of money on the table in this industry right now. And you don't want to sit back and let the times pass you by.
You can't. Like I teach a digital arts and technology class, and I'm literally telling my youth, like, look, y'all game, but there's a whole nother side to this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get them from being just consumers to actually, kind of being the innovators, the creators,
right.
all that, the entrepreneurs. So, and they're loving it. I mean, they're loving it. They're tuned in. I mean, I don't have any issues with my students showing up to class or doing homework. They're on it.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is, there's levels, right? And I think we're seeing levels of ways to consume esports, right? You're going to have the people that just want to play. They just want to hop on the sticks. They just want to get it in. But now you're seeing this whole other wave of people who are down to be viewers, who are down to just watch the esports happen, down to watch the different games, watch the different tournaments, watch the different personalities who rise to the top in maybe it's a game like Fortnite or even Madden. You got these personalities of people, of YouTube stars who are just, helping to run this industry. So I guess my question for you is, do you believe that esports is it going to be one of those things that that you see this direction it's going in, like the direction that is going in as far as viewership, right? Like, why do you think that's happening? Like, I have a small theory about this, but like, it seems like people now, I remember back in the day, if you brought somebody over to your house while you were playing the game and they were watching, they want to hop on the game. They don't want to just watch it. Like, what is it behind this new phenomenon of people that are down to be viewers of esports, down to sit and watch the games? I got a little theory that we'll get into after, but I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Right. I mean, honestly, it comes down to entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's some streamers out here that you can literally, watch them play the game that you play and be entertained by it. You know what I mean? So I believe there's a entertainment standpoint. There's a passive thing. So like, you can literally, whatever device you have, just go to Twitch, press play, because it's like, honestly, like watching a show. You know what I mean? Like, people are excited to, watch Bryce play Madden. You know what I mean? Like, you have your own followers, your own, viewership, your own just dedicated, I guess, what do you want to call it? Just dedicated viewers, man, for real. So, and like I said, even from someone who didn't understand it, but then I saw it from when James was watching, and I'm like, you know what, that does make sense. You know what I mean? And then with the whole, being able to go on Twitch and people could pay you money, and hey, look, it's all about entertainment. That's the new Netflix now. You know what I mean?
Right. No, 100%. I get into my theory just a little bit. I think that growing up as a sports fan, right? You watch your favorite athletes. Maybe your favorite athlete is LeBron James. Growing up for me, it was a Kobe, AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you try to emulate these guys when you get out on the court. But if your favorite player is Shaq, you're probably not gonna grow to be 7'1", 300 pounds. You know what I mean? If your favorite player is LeBron James, not everyone gets to be 6'8", 250, right? I mean, these are things that like are out of your control. And I think a part of the allure of gaming and watching the gaming is the fact of how attainable the actual action is. Like, anybody can pick up a controller. And I'm not saying anybody's going to be great, but you start to think about, if I put in this time, if I put in these hours, I could be this good. And it's not something that's out of my attainability. Like, this is something I could possibly attain. Do you think that's part of the reason why esports viewership is skyrocketing?
Definitely. It's like I said, I agree with you 100%. It's just the fact that you have it right there at the palm of your hands, man. You know what I mean? Like you can literally, and then let's not talk about mobile gaming. You know what I mean? Like mobile gaming, that's just a whole nother beast in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I mean, I play Among Us with my students, once or twice a week, like, and they love it. I mean, the simple fact, like, I mean, trying to teach them about you can create your own Among Us. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm looking at some statistics here. Mobile gaming revenue was estimated at about 63 billion in 2020 worldwide, and they're talking about it's gonna by 2023, mobile gaming is gonna bring in about 100 billion US revenue, and that's just mobile gaming. We're not talking about PC, console, mobile gaming. I mean, you're Among Us, COD mobile. So I definitely agree, man. Like, it's just the fact that it's right there for you. People are entertaining. People have their own way of doing things, and Twitch is their platform. Twitch or whatever, YouTube, however you want to do it. People are gonna follow you regardless and watch you play that game.
No, that's facts. That's facts, man. If you're good,
even at Pandemonium, shout out Corey King when he was commentating the Super Smash. I mean, I was locked in.
Yeah,
I felt like I was, I'm watching like, Kansas City or what was that Philly versus Arizona game. You know what I mean?
Right,
Because it's like his commentary just has it draws you in. And you don't necessarily even have to even look at the screen. Sometimes you turn from the screen, you just hear his voice and you're locked in. So it's amazing, man.
Nah, definitely, man. So let's get into the direction some more of esports, right?
Okay.
Because I think we're like I said, we're in a unique circumstance right now with 2020, with the pandemic and all that type of stuff. But if you look at esports and you kind of track where it started and where it's gone, I mean, there's only been one, what I would say is like a landmark change, and that's when you went from kind of the arcade, standing up, playing on those big boxes. I mean, if you under 20, 25, you might not have a clue what I'm talking about.
Right.
But back in the day, you had to stand up at basically a TV screen type of thing in a little booth almost to play your arcade game, right? Dave and Buster type of things. Exactly. Eventually, that switched over to like the Nintendo style where you had a controller in hand, you know what I mean? And that advanced to Xbox, that advanced to PlayStation, what we've got today. But it's always been a similar style of gaming where you have controller in hand, you're essentially sitting down, you're in front of the screen, right? But now we've got these new type of games coming out. We've got the Oculus, and I'm sure there's other virtual gaming systems in the works that are planning their takeover. So my question for you is like, as we look at the future of esports, do you see the controller as something that's here to stay, or do you see us get into more of like that Black Mirror's wave where they had guys putting on the headsets, they're so locked into the game they lose sense of reality? And you know what I mean? I can think back to those those like sci-fi movies back in the day where you're in a video game, your life gets ended in the video game, and then your real life gets ended at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of that, check out. I don't know if you ever seen Ready Player One. It's actually one of those things where like it's a really great movie where you put on the joint or whatever, the equipment, and you're actually in this place called the Oasis. So it's like a virtual world. Check it out. Good movie because it was explaining what you were exactly. So with regards to the sticks gonna be here for a while, but at the same time, there is a virtual reality, augmented reality that is coming, and it's going to be, on just another form of gaming, another form of esports. Just the whole we're a ways off from it. I'm thinking maybe 10 years still, at least from a whole like with the Oculus and being able to, I'm looking at I want to play Madden with this jump. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to play 2K. So there's definitely that's coming, and it's going to be something different. It's going to be something that is probably going to be. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. So check out Ready Player One because that to me is what the next coming is. So, but Yeah, sticks are here. Sticks ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? They ain't going nowhere for a while. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, just like your old traditional. Because if you look back at the history of all these gaming consoles, it's always had some sort of joystick or something controller along those lines.
Right.
Even back on what was it, Pong? And
Right.
you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah, so the sticks seem to be here to stay,
yeah, they're gonna be here to stay.
in some form or another.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even even if it's like the Wii jump, like,
Right.
or I don't know, the Oculus still has the little joints. You still got
Mhm.
it. It's going to be some form of fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be pretty cool as we because our generation, man, like I'm probably a little bit younger than you, I believe, but at the
Yeah.
same time, we were kind of there for the inception of this video game
Definitely.
wave. At least the controller wave, you know what I
Oh
mean? Like
yeah.
I remember my first system that I owned was a Sega Genesis, so that
Yep.
was and that was my couldn't tell me nothing once I got that. But
Man.
yeah, like we kind of were here for the beginning, so it's gonna be real interesting to see where it goes from here. It's only going up. It's gonna be
Yeah.
crazy, that's for sure.
I'm excited, man. I love technology. So just to see where it goes and just open up new doors for our youth. You know what I'm saying? Like, why can't one of my sixth graders be a Roblox influencer?
Right.
They're really good at building on Roblox. You know what I mean? Like, I have another, sixth grader. She's really good at art. Why can't she draw something that could, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many opportunities, man. I want to be that liaison.
Man, you bring me right to my next question. Because with being in a underserved community that is the Black community in America, it starts to make me wonder because we've been shut out of sports before. It's happened. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had Coach Rock on from the DC Mambas hockey program, and we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about it with him. We spoke about how Black kids are traditionally shut out of hockey. How do
True.
we make sure that young African Americans don't get shut out of esports gaming? Obviously, you guys with RSN are playing your part for sure, but how do we make sure we don't just have kids that love gaming, that love to do it in their spare time, but aren't going that extra step or don't know that extra outlet to bring it to esports, to actual, competition that's actually, why that's actually refereed, that's actually, counting
Right.
towards
Now,
something.
I think, to answer your question, it's just about just kind of just being that resource, man, and just trying to scream as loud as you can. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I like that we actually, you know, do grassroots and go to the school and be the boots on the ground to be that kind of community liaison because, like look at Pandemonium, like we hit the ground and, we, some local kids, you know, we had kids from all over the world kind of tuning in to what we were doing. And it was just something that, like we had to scream louder. You know what I mean? Let them know that, you know, there is an opportunity to make money in the gaming world. There is, and there's a spot for you. I mean, gaming world is 300 something, 400 billion. It's a lot of money. You get a little bit of that, and you'll be all right. Be yourself. If you want to be a streamer, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I think there's a spot for everyone, and we just got to find out what that spot is and kind of just help them kind of get to that location.
Right. Yeah, that's very well put, man. Kind of piggybacking off that last question. Let's say I'm a young gamer, or let's say I'm a parent of a young gamer. What would someone like you who's knee deep into this esports world? What would your recommendation be for my next move to start to really get involved with esports? Let's just say, like I said, I'm a young gamer, I love
Mm-hmm.
to do it, or I'm a parent that has a young gamer that clearly has a passion for this. What's my next move?
Straight up, to be real with you, go to sign up on our website for the Future First Gaming times RSN League. And the reason why I say that because it's more like Pandemonium. We want to bust Pandemonium down and spread it out. You get what I'm saying? So that
Mhm.
there's a build up to Pandemonium. So I believe if you sign up, you're going to learn it from a different standpoint, a unique standpoint, especially with Future First and RSN Esports. That combination, we're going to teach you if you want to code, we'll teach you how to code. If you want a game, you'll game with us. we're going to build that community. You know what I mean? Because it's about building community, letting people know what their options are. If you are a novice gamer, a casual gamer, and you want to just come along for the ride, because then we could put you on with HBCUs that are now getting to esports. We could find you scholarship opportunities. We could find grants. I mean, STEM. We can teach you how to build a computer from scratch. I mean, there's a couple different ways we want to do this, and I think that that's a good way. Come with us along this journey, because we have a unique lens, and we're gonna handle esports and gaming from a total different standpoint.
Right, and even watching what you guys moves, it's clear that you guys are definitely doing that. So just a few more questions, man. So one, what unique opportunities are out there for esports players that may not be out there for traditional sports?
Definitely inclusion. I believe you might be able to get more, like someone who's disabled or handicapped, they can still game. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's more girls gaming now. Also, I believe there's also opportunities, like we talked about earlier, with the mobile gaming. So you may not have a console or a PC, but you have a phone. If you're blessed to have one, then you can game on your phone. Kind of find those type of scenarios. I definitely believe it's an opportunity to distract people positively as well. A lot of our youth, some of our youth are in the streets. Some of our youth are doing things they shouldn't be doing. They're not engaged with the educational system. They're just kind of doing their own thing. So why not positively engage them? Have them put the trigger down and pick up a controller. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it, because at the end of the day, it's a positive thing, and they're probably gonna go by their man's house and game anyway. So why not do it from a different standpoint, instead of just being a consumer and playing the game all night, and then you wake up, or you look at the past month, you spent hours and hours and hours, and you haven't done anything productive but just play the game.
Right, man. I spent a lot of hours like that.
Yeah,
Nothing productive.
both, it was good time though, because it was a lot of, like, I spent time with my brother. Like, I'm not saying it was time wasted, but if I could look back at it and kind of do it a little bit different, I would. And just kind of like, shoot, I could have started this 15, 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm just happy to be here now doing this, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, nah, man. I mean, the future of esports got me excited too. As a guy that's been, a lifelong gamer, I mean,
Right.
I just can't wait to see where it goes. And I think back to, being a kid. I love gaming, but at that time there was no esports, right?
Right.
And I remember just playing for different sports, whether it was baseball or basketball. You play on AAU teams and travel teams. I can just remember my mom taking me everywhere around the map, right? We had to go here, we had to go here, we had to go here. If I was esports, I probably could have done that all from my couch and been playing in different leagues,
Right.
and contributing to different teams, and just been in one place the whole time. So I think that's another another opportunity there.
Yeah, like I tell anybody about esports and gaming, like, if you're interested in gaming, you're interested in technology. So there's so many different facets that it doesn't even stop at esports, man. It just can go so many different ways, and that's what I always try to tell all the youth. If you like gaming, cool. Let's figure out what your place is in it, and let's get there.
Right, man. I think that's awesome, man. I think that's awesome. So my question for you is like, do you see a time coming where esports completely takes over traditional sports? And if so, how long do you think this is going to take? What is the timeline looking like? I read off some stats earlier that, by the end of 2021, esports as a whole will have more viewership than any of the major sports. But obviously, that's not all the major sports combined, right? I mean, there's tons of different games someone could be playing in esports, and we only have, 4 major sports. But it's coming, I feel like. Do you feel the same? Do you think there's ever going to be a time where esports completely takes over traditional sporting?
I mean, to be honest with you, it possibly can. I'm not even going to front. It possibly can. I don't know when. We're going to have to, like, I guess maybe once technology advances a little bit more, then we'll kind of see where it can go. But I definitely, like I said earlier, keep that viewership on your radar. You know what I mean? Like, keep that viewership on your radar, because it's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going and going and going, like the Energizer Bunny. And then, we can start having some more conversations because there's going to be more games that's going to come out, more esports type of games. Like, I'm just excited about the future of it. But I definitely think it could, but it would be tight though, you know, just to see how it branches off because it can be crazy. You know what I mean? Like all these different esports teams, and it's already crazy. So it's only going to get even more crazy, which is a good thing, you know? And I just hope that there's more of our representation of us. You know what I mean? Because we game by nature, we gonna game. You know what I mean? And I always try to tell our youth, the console, to me, console is cool, but PC is where the money at.
Right.
PC gaming is where the money's at. So I always push for PC. Man, if you can have them both, then go for it. But I always definitely recommend the PC. Build your own PC, piece it together, and you be well on your way to something special.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm super excited to see just where gaming heads. You mentioned a little earlier that if people really want to get involved, they need to check out the Future First Gaming times RSN Pandemonium. Can you link them on how they can kind of get involved with more things you guys got going on?
Definitely. So you can follow us so we're on all social platforms, RSN Esports with a Z, RSN Esports with a Z, and then we also have RSN Sports 1 DMV. And we actually just did a little bit of a construction of our website. So it's regionalsportsdmv.com. And that's REGIONALSPORTS DMV.com. And you can sign up for the FFG times RSN League there. You can see more information on what we do. Please keep in mind it's under construction. So, you know, but it is a little bit of information there. If you really want to see what we do, hit us up on social, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. That's all of our work is literally there. You can literally just scroll. We got content for days and days.
Yeah, so make sure y'all shoot over there ASAP.
Yeah. And also,
RSNregionalsports.com.
Right. I really, really encourage people to check out the league that we have coming out. I think that's going to be another thing that's going to be. It's just that's one of the things that really excites me about 2021 and beyond because it's an opportunity for the average Joe Schmo to be a part of a community. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe that I was that kid that I tried out for all the sports, but it never clicked. You know what I mean? And I just would go home and chill, you know what I'm saying, and game a little bit, you know what I mean? I had all the systems, so it wasn't an issue. Me and my brother would game. Ooh, man, I swear, my brother, he's good at gaming. I don't know what it is, man. That dude will always beat me. but I'm definitely excited about the future of esports. And, think about it. I saw a tweet earlier. Larry Bird would have to practice before and after. You can't with gaming and especially mobile gaming. You can pull that jump right up when you got a little 7-minute little Uber ride. Start gaming. You know what I mean? Like that's the accessibility of it is amazing, and just how it's just going to continue to keep growing and growing. Look at Among Us. Nobody thought Among Us would have blew up like that. I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's hilarious, man. I was playing it earlier with some of my youth, and they just look forward to it. They enjoy it, and it just builds community.
Yeah, man. All this talk makes me think back in the day when I was a young lad on the couch just gaming for hours and hours and hours, not moving. My mom would look back and yell at me, "You boy, you don't get off that couch, get off that game." Hey, if she would have known it was a $500 million industry very soon, I'm pretty sure she would have let me keep going. But, just word to the parents, man. Encourage your kids, do whatever it seems like they love, because you never know what type of industry it's going to be.
Exactly. I mean, it's funny, like I did a survey with some of my youth and reading their responses, like, yeah, my mom be telling me put the game down, but she don't get it. Like I love the game. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, wow, interesting, man. It's just a new generation, man. They're gamers by nature. They just came out the womb gaming. You know what I mean? So they're going game anyway. So might as well, game with a purpose.
Get with the times or get lost, man.
Right.
Seriously. Hey, Jeremy, it's been a pleasure, man, having you sit down with me, man, talking about esports. Definitely a bright future, man. Anything else you'd like to leave with the people?
Man, like my principal used to always say, aim for the top because the bottom is overcrowded. That's all I got for y'all, man. But thanks for having me, Bryce and Gas Network. Shout out Romel, what's goody, everybody else with Gas. And that's all I got for you, man. Thanks for having me again, bro. Hopefully we can have another conversation soon about 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. For sure. We're going to have to do this again, man, especially when you guys, when Pandemonium coming back around.
Yes.
We definitely have to sit back down and talk about it. And I'm sure by that time you guys will reach even newer heights, even larger heights, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, thanks again. And I'll holler at you on the flip side.
And you guys know how we end every episode of Gas Anything, Sports for the Culture.